Please take your seats. Our programming will begin momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Jewish National Fund USA's Vice President of Rabbis for Israel, Rabbi Erez Sherman.
Shavua Tov, good evening, everyone. What a treat to be able to spend Shabbat together. Last May, on a Jewish National Fund USA mission with many of the people in this room, I met people like Shelley Shem Tov, whose son Omer is still held in captivity. We picked literally tons of tomatoes to ensure that those farmers can continue to support their families and the people of Israel. And just like you, we cooked meals for those soldiers, and we, as Jewish National Fund USA does so well, we made that desert bloom. The day before the mission, I had the opportunity to visit Har Herzl, the military cemetery in Jerusalem, to pay my respect to the soldiers of the IDF who have given their lives so that each one of us can be here today. And as I stood among those fresh graves, I approached a young man and asked who he was visiting that day. He told me his name was Eitan Applebaum, and he was a lone soldier from Chile. And he was visiting his commander, Tal Levy, and his best friend, Amir Lavi, who were murdered on October 7th at the Sufa military base. I looked at Eitan and I told him I was a rabbi visiting Har Herzl from Los Angeles. And he looked back at me and he said, "Rabbi, I am so lucky." I was a bit confused, and I said, Eitan, how can you be lucky if we are standing here in a cemetery in Har Herzl as you visit your friends who sacrificed their lives for the state of Israel? And right before Shabbat, he told me, he said, Rabbi, I am so lucky because you are here, that I can tell you my story, so that one day you can stand before thousands of people and you can tell my story to somebody else. My friends of JNF-USA, we are lucky. We are lucky that we are here to learn the stories that we must now tell, and we are lucky that we have the good fortune to support the building and rebuilding of the State of Israel through Jewish National Fund USA. We are lucky, and we've witnessed them over this last 24 hours, that hundreds of college and high school students have joined us, taking time out of their lives to invest in the future of Israel so that they will be ready to become tomorrow's leaders. And we are lucky that this year over 50 rabbis and 40 rabbinical students, future rabbis of America, their tables in the back, but we hear them in the front, so that they can proudly lead their communities as rabbis for Israel. But let's tonight be more than lucky. Let's be grateful, so that Eitan Applebaum will know that what we do here does not end here, but what we do here propels the lives and missions of our brothers and sisters who continue to make Israel a thriving, exciting, promising Jewish homeland that we know and will continue to love. Join with me these three words: Am Yisrael Chai. And as we do so, before we begin our meal, please join me in the words of the Motzi together. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz. Shavua Tov B'Teyavon.
Please welcome to the stage tonight's master. Please welcome to the stage tonight's Master of Ceremonies and a champion of Israel and the Jewish people, Michael Rappaport.
Sit down, sit down. I am so happy to be here. I am honored to be here. I am excited to be here. Take the photos now. We'll do one big, ginormous selfie at the end. I'll take the selfie, and then I'll edit the selfie so I look good and you guys look like little spots in the back of the selfie. What can I say? How's everybody feeling? Has everybody been to and heard and met other fantastic Jewish Zionists this weekend so far? All right, good. Before I even get started, and I don't even know exactly what I'm going to do when I get started, I want to start everything like I start every single one of my days, to not forget for a minute, for a second, for a drink, for a refill, for a breath, before you go to sleep, as soon as you wake up, the imperativeness of agenda number 1 through 101, which is to free our hostages. Every single one of them needs to be freed. And I don't need to remind this room, but I think it's important to reiterate that there are 7 Americans that have been in Gaza since October 7th, 2023. There are 13 women that have been in Gaza since October 7th, 2023. There are 101 hostages that must be freed immediately. And I know that everybody in this room, in one way or another, has been vigorous, fighting in any way, shape, or form for their release, and fighting for the sovereignty of Israel, and to continue to make sure that Israel not only has the right to defend itself, but to kick ass while doing so. We don't just have a right to defend ourselves. When we're attacked the way we have been attacked since 1948 till this afternoon, we don't just have to fight with manners and tippy-toe. We have a right to defend ourselves and kick ass while doing so. I want to give a shout out to the poor people of table 1 over there. I walked by your table. I see you guys over there. I don't know how you snuck, don't stand up. I wouldn't be proud. This is a donor-based situation. Like if we were at a basketball game, you'd be in the seats where you couldn't see. Like this is the cool kids club over here. This table over here, this is a power table. I could just tell because they're in front of me. And they're looking like if you say anything smart, you won't make your flight on Monday. That's big time donors. I don't know what happened to table 1. I can't even see you poor bastards over there in the deep corner. I'm not even, listen, what table is that right here, like in the I can't even hear. Look, these guys over, this is like a different section over here. How you guys doing in the back? What's that? Westport, Connecticut. Fantastic. All right, please. I'll do shout-outs later on because you say Westport, Connecticut, then people are like Boca Raton, and then they were like the 5. I knew it. Don't turn the lights on for Boca Raton. They don't know how to act. They'll go crazy. God forbid I said something about the 5 towns. This place will be turned. Don't know. Sit down. Anybody from Long Island, so much pride. The people of Long Island have, the Jews of my mother is a Jewish woman from Long Island. I know what you guys are capable of. That is a very specific, fierce, especially the Jewish women of Long Island. I love you. I'm afraid of you, but I love each and every one of you. So tonight, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of emotions because we are in an unprecedented time to be Jewish. We are in an unprecedented time to be Zionist. Hopefully, we can have some laughs. Inevitably, we are, I'm sure, going to have some tears. And I have been really sort of having an inner struggle with the laughing over the last year. And I've given myself the leeway, and I urge everybody to give themselves the leeway to laugh, because for about 9 months since October 7th, I couldn't appreciate the mundane. And when I say mundane, I mean the things that I used to feel were the most important, like Sunday football, or NBA playoffs, or the Real Housewives of New York, the Real Housewives of New Jersey, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Real Housewives of Potomac, the Real Housewives of Dubai, which I heard might be getting canceled, sorry, the Real Housewives of Miami, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the Real Housewives of Orange County, and the fantastic Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But I have started to pace myself, and even though I, like I said, wake up and go to sleep thinking about everybody that who has been lost since October 7th, the kidnapped victims, the survivors' families, the people we've lost, their families, and the hundreds of stories that we heard, and there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of stories that we haven't heard. And I just urge everybody, it seems like you guys are up for a good time. Like I said, hopefully we will have some laughs tonight. We'll have some tears. We'll shake it out. I can't have a room of 1,800 Jews sit in a chair. At one point, everybody needs to shake it out because the inflammation in the Ashkenazi Jew is a real thing. That is one of the things that Kanye West didn't mention when he said the Jews control the world. He said the Jews control the world, the Jews control Hollywood, the Jews control the government. He didn't say the Jews have very bad inflammation. So that's one thing that we kept from him, because somehow he found out that Jew-minati was real. I mean, let's cut the crap. It has been real for years and years and years, and how he found out and breached the codes, I have no idea. But tonight, we are going to get started by celebrating, okay? We are going to celebrate two individuals who have done so much to advance the work that we all care about. The first is Dr. Saul Lizarbram, who we will be honoring in just a moment for all his work on behalf of the Jewish National Fund USA. Saul, I have been told you have been an extraordinary president of this very, very special organization. And if you're looking for your next gig, I heard you're pretty funny, so you could come join me on tour. I'll be in Boston on Thursday. I'll be in Connecticut on Friday, and then I'll be in Toronto, where I could definitely use help, because I know that those lunatic protesters will be out there in force. Yes, and hopefully the protesters at my next gig will pay for seats. I did a show in Chicago last week, a comedy show. Thank you. Did any of you at table, what is that, 45, come to my show? No. Why am I talking to you? None of you came to my show. There were protesters up the wazoo outside of my show. I know there's got to be some great Jewish lawyers in here, because in Chicago and Portland, both Chicago and Portland, they said, Michael, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. And I was like, how do I get this off my record? I need to get that expunged. Is it something I could do online? Because right now, the protesters of both Portland and Chicago have charged me with genocide. And I just, you don't want to get jammed up at the airport. Toronto's in the house? All right. Yes. What'd you say? Tel Aviv. We know Tel Aviv's in the place to be. Anyway, we'll talk shout-outs. We'll talk about Tel Aviv. We'll get to find out where everybody's from. And we're going to have a great night. Pace yourself. Make sure, if you need to, stretch your feet. The second person we're going to be honoring this evening is Pastor Franklin, who will be receiving the Tree of Life Shalom Peace Award. For those of you in the know, this is a big deal. For those of you who don't know, listen the F up. They told me not to curse. Do you guys mind if I curse? Power guys in the front, listen, I listen to this table in the front here. Maybe I do one F. Okay. Let me get two Fs. Okay. This table looks like you're some heavy hitters too. Matter of fact, they look like they got custom suits. Those look like off the rack. Guys, I'm kidding. But this gentleman, he's not even looking at me. This guy, he's making me so nervous. He's like, I won't even give you the eye contact you want. And, you're scaring me. What is this gentleman's name? That's Saul. Saul, I'm not Chris Rock. Don't try any funny business with me. Anyway, this award is the Jewish National Fund USA's highest humanitarian award given in appreciation of outstanding community involvement, dedication to the cause of American-Israel friendship, and the devotion to peace and the security of human life. To kick off our celebration, please turn your attention to the video screens. Thank you.
In 1901, Theodor Herzl stood in front of the Fifth Zionist Congress and announced the formation of Jewish National Fund. In 2017, Dr. Saul Lieserbrand was elected to carry the torch and to continue our story. He has led Jewish National Fund to the most trusted philanthropic organization in the United States with a reputation of getting things done. Dr. Lieserbrand has walked in the footsteps of Theodor Herzl and has made an impact. Through his inspiration and leadership, he has completed our $1 billion roadmap. Over 200,000 children between kindergarten and 8th grade have engaged in Zionist education. We recruited over 8,000 young people to participate in Birthright Israel. We brought 5,000 college students on alternative breaks to Israel. We reached over 50,000 college students on 60 campuses with our Positive Israel message. We have taken over 600 non-Jewish professors and 700 non-Jewish college students to Israel. And over 5,000 teenagers have experienced Alexander Muss High School in Israel. During his tenure, we provided over 200 fire vehicles to the Fire and Rescue Authority of Israel, opened the Western Galilee Information Center in Akko, and saw it rebuilt when terrorists burned it down. We brought over 50,000 new immigrants from North America to Israel, a new generation calling Israel home. And he has been the driving force in planning the greatest, the biggest project in the history of our Jewish people, the World Zionist Village, in the city of Beersheba, next to Abraham's Well, where our conversation first began over 3,600 years ago. Dr. Lieserbrand led us. But what got him here?
We met on a blind date in 1968 and got married in 1971. Saul told me that after that first date, he went home and told his mom, "I just met the girl I'm going to marry." So we got married, moved to Philadelphia, where Saul went to medical school, and that's where our son David was born. After he graduated and finished his medical training, we moved to San Diego to enjoy the West Coast lifestyle and sunshine. Saul started a family medicine practice, and soon after, our daughter Marcy was born. One day, a prominent San Diego philanthropist called Saul and said, "The JNF San Diego board could use some young participants. Why don't you come to a board meeting?" So off he went to a board meeting and got inspired by JNF's work. Saul became president of the JNF San Diego board, and eventually he was asked to serve on the JNF National Board. Then one day, Saul got a call from Russell Robinson asking him to be national president of Jewish National Fund. When he hung up and he told me about the conversation with Russell, I asked him, "Are you sure Russell called the right person?" The past 7 years as president has been the greatest honor of our lives. I don't think there's a bigger honor in the Jewish philanthropic world. We have met the most incredible people, both here and in Israel. It has enriched our lives beyond anything we could ever have imagined. Being involved in our local Jewish community has also been a priority for us. As founding members of Congregation Beth Am, we participated in its growth and were fortunate enough to facilitate in the building of the sanctuary. We are so proud of our children and grandchildren, David, Mana, Marcy, Jake, Rachel, and Miles. I know we have inspired them with our love of Israel, and I know they will continue to follow in our footsteps. Saul, thank you for taking me on this beautiful journey.
The Jewish National Fund story continues stronger than ever before because Saul led us through good times and hard times. A pandemic in which he created virtual missions to Israel, which over 50,000 people participated online, visiting Israel from their own living rooms. He has led us through war, an emergency campaign, and rebuilding plans. He has enlightened us, impacted us, and it has been rewarding and an honor to have had Dr. Saul Lieserbrand as president of Jewish National Fund USA.
I love you, Zeta. Thank you for taking us to Israel and showing us how beautiful it is.
Thank you for being the best Zeta and amazing role model. I'm so proud to be your granddaughter. You take care of us and you take care of Israel.
Thank you, Zeta, for being the best and an amazing role model. I'm so proud to be your grandson. You take care of us and take care of Israel. L'chaim.
I get the opportunity to tell you for a few minutes about 7 years with a great individual. And it's not just a great individual because you get Lauren as part of the package. It was like a 2-for-1. And the president of this organization is not a ceremonial position. It is one that is required to travel to Israel constantly with me, to come to New York every month for a board meeting, to be able to go throughout the country talking, soliciting, and telling our story. So I'm just going to tell you one. It was during the pandemic. And we were planning our national global conference in Israel. And it got canceled. So then we rescheduled it. And I said, Saul, we have to go to Israel because they've just allowed us to travel. And we got to do a video and then tell people we're here in Israel, it's great, don't worry and come. So we flew to Israel. We made videos, and then they closed the airport for the pandemic. And a couple months later, they opened it, and I said, Saul, we got to go to Israel and make a video. Saul flew to Israel with me. We made the video. They canceled it. But the point of the story is that whatever you want to call, you call Saul. Saul, we wanted to give you and Lauren a special gift from the Jewish National Fund. So in a small little artist shop in the city of Akko, where artisans are not having the business because Lauren's not showing up. So we brought you a gift that's being delivered to your home. It is supposed to be on the screen. Is it? Yes. Jerusalem, I can't see. Jerusalem of Gold, by an artist, Azel, that I know, Lauren, you had looked at this piece of art, and we have bought it, and it's being shipped to your home. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Saul Lieserbrand.
Okay, wow. With that photo montage, it makes it seem more like my bar mitzvah than a JNF event. So, I've been told that the three most exciting words in JNF is immediate past president. So this has been quite a 2-year term that began 7 years ago. And someone at JNF can't count. but that does not include our CFO, Mitch. I started my term in 2017 with no gray hair, but it's been the greatest honor of my life to participate in this organization that is so dedicated to the land and people of Israel. It's impossible to recognize and thank everyone that's made this journey so special, but I could have not done it without my family, who understood when Lauren and I missed events like basketball games, football, soccer, and baseball games. They were there. So a big thank you to David, Mana, Marcy, Ben, Jake, Rachel, and Miles. Let's see, I did miss somebody, and that's Lauren. So Lauren was as much a part of the presidency as I was, and deserves special recognition. So Lauren baked challahs for JNF auctions and is still very much involved in task forces. She played many roles as wife, personal chief of staff, first lady, and the ultimate presidential advisor. Ready to travel anywhere in the world for JNF with never a complaint, which makes me wonder if she's really Jewish. I'd like to thank Russell for the introduction, reading every word I wrote for him. Thank you. And I'd like to thank Alan DeBrow of blessed memory. Jeff Levine for their guidance. Now back to Russell. I didn't know that part of the job description as president was to participate in a sleep deprivation study. I knew that Russell was an extraordinary leader with unparalleled vision. But what I didn't know is that when you travel to Russell to Israel, and that's coming from the West Coast, you land in Tel Aviv at 1 a.m. in the morning, and the first meeting was at 7 a.m. in the morning, and continues all day with a steak dinner at 10 p.m. And the next day was the same. So we know that Russell's been named one of the 50 most influential Jews in the world. If there was a category, you're correct. If there was a category of meetings per day, he'd be #1 in the world. Anyway, Russell, thank you for your leadership and guidance. The administrative staff, professional staff, and affiliates all assisted as we navigated through good times and challenging times. So thanks to all of you for your help. I was introduced to Israeli politics, which I still don't understand, but I feel I'm not alone in that category. However, we met great mayors. Some of them are here today. And we met great Israeli and community leaders who assisted us in formulating our vision, and most recently, our renewed affiliation with KKL in Israel. And of course, our extended family, which has grown exponentially thanks to JNF. And I'm not just talking about the adults here. I had the privilege to meet generations of students from Alexander Muss High School. And we watched as their passion for Israel and their Jewish life strengthened as they carried forward the torch of Zionism. In a few years, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those students becomes president of Jewish National Fund USA. In the meantime, we're very fortunate to have Deb Zaluda as our president. Now we need everyone to to help us in our fabulous Rebuild program. We will dance again. Current events always keep us on our toes, but the COVID-19 pandemic tested our resilience in ways we could have never imagined. And the attacks of October 7th transformed our world, shattering our sense of security and forcing us to reevaluate so much of what we thought to be true. But these moments of catastrophe reveal something extraordinary about the Jewish people in general, and Jewish National Fund in particular, our ability to pivot, to adapt, and continue producing results, even under the most trying circumstances. Our ability to choose life. And it's in these moments that we've shown what we're truly made of, no matter the obstacles in our paths. I've had the privilege of witnessing the full life cycle of Jewish National Fund USA's work, from strategy, ideation, and conception to the very first shovel in the ground and the ribbon cutting. I've seen barren places and uninhabitable land transformed into thriving communities. And what I've seen more than anything else is that our long-term thinking and commitment to action doesn't merely develop the land of Israel and build infrastructure. It promises hope for future generations. So now, as I transition to chairman of our national board, Lauren and I are committed to remain as active as we have been. There's a lot of work to do, and we want to be there for our new president, Deb, our national board, and every contributor to JNF. Although this may sound like it's been a very long presidency, it's actually been a blessing. So thank you for this honor. Lauren and I look forward to celebrating JNF's many accomplishments together with each one of you. And now, as my final official act as president, I get the privilege of announcing this year's recipient of the JNF-USA Presidential Medal. This award recognizes a volunteer who dedicates an enormous amount of time to JNF, often behind the scenes and with great integrity. This year's recipient is Joe Wolfson. So Joe, if you could come up to the stage. I know you're mad at me. For another And now, to keep our program moving forward, please direct your attention to the screens.
The Special in Uniform Band is a part of the Special in Uniform program of the Lend a Hand to a Special Child Association and the Jewish National Fund USA, which integrates into the IDF over 1,000 young adults with special needs. In addition to the sense of equality and purpose, their service provides them with social skills, tools, and pride which is indescribable. The base commanders where these youngsters serve claim a significant increase in motivation and decrease in disciplinary problems throughout the entire base. When their parents see them in uniform or receiving their beret, they're overjoyed and can hardly believe their eyes. The The Special in Uniform program is supported by the Jewish National Fund USA, as well as major leading Israeli companies who sustain units participating in the program. Through their music, the Special in Uniform Band exhibit their incredible talents to the world in the best way possible. They prove that the Special in Uniform soldiers are the most beautiful side of Israel and the IDF.
בואו נשיר לארץ יפה, ארץ של שמש ואור. זמר סוחף לאהבה, הבה נקדיש לה מזמור. בואו נשיר לארץ קטנה, ארץ אלפי שנים, שיר של מילים ומנגינה, חלומות יפים רוקמים.
וגם מי שהולך מעבר לים, מנסה לשבת בארץ נכר, משהו בלב מחזירו לכאן, לא היום אז אולי מחר. וגם מי שהולך מעבר לים, מנסה לשבת בארץ נכר, משהו בלב מחזירו לכאן, לא היום אז אולי מחר, לא היום אז אולי מחר. הוא היושב לו אי שם במרומים, הוא הרופא כל חולים, הוא הנותן רוב שמחה לילדים, הוא העושה משפטים, הוא בשמיים והוא היחיד, הוא הגדול הנורא, הוא השומר עלינו מצרה.
Oh dear God, watch over us, be our God from above. Behold us, don't ever let go. Fill our hearts with the grace of your love. Give us the strength to grow and grow. Watch over us, be our God from above. Behold us, don't ever let go. Fill our hearts with the grace of your love. Give us the strength to grow. מחלומי אני רואה רחוב כמו נהר בוער, ואנשים לעבודה יומם הולכים, ותינוקות של בית רבן עם הילקוט שעל גבם, וביניהם כמה אלפי הדס פורחים. פתאום זה בא ומתבהר, ולעצמי אני אומר, No, 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 you can beat me down, you can beat me down, never again. No, 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 you can beat me down, you can beat me down, never again. No, 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 you can beat me down, you can beat me down, never again. No, 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 you can beat me down, you can beat me down, never again. You can beat me down, never again.
That was excellent. Give it up for SIU one more time. You guys were fantastic. I don't know if you could see, Excellent performance by SIU that just happened here. I don't know if you got access to screening. They kicked butt. How you doing? Are you filming this just for like, what is this? I hope this is streaming better than the Jake Paul fight last night. What a mess. Can we talk Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? What was happening last night here at Dallas? I made the executive decision I was going to come in and go to that fight. Best thing I ever did was not go to that fight. I was mad enough watching that debacle at home while I was at my mother's house in Palm Beach, Florida. Palm Beach is in the house. What a mess. Did you guys see the fight? Did you see Mike Tyson's tushy? That was the most exciting thing. Mike Tyson, before he went out, you go like, he's bare ass. There's Mike Tyson's. It's better than the fight. What a mess. And that haircut. The next person Jake Paul needs to fight is his barber. He needs to fight his barber for sending him out there with that haircut and that beard chopping. He needs to fight his barber and fight dignity because he lost that years ago. Listen, is this thing on? What's that? You hear me? Thank you. That's the table. The table from Boca's out of control. I'll throw you out. I got security all over this place. We'll toss you. We'll 69 you right out of here, or 86 you. Is it 69 or 86? 86. Wow. The guys from Boca Raton, I said 69. You guys got nuts. Calm down. We're not cursing. We keep it PG here tonight. You know, they told me 17 times, they said, we don't want you to curse. I go, I got it. They said, there's a lawyer that, you got to sign. I said, I'm not an animal. I'm not a total Gavone. I know how to work. Although I got a 3 F word. Saul said 3 F word. Look at Saul. Saul's on his phone tweeting. Look at this guy here. How you doing? Look at it. Can you hear me over here? Okay. How you doing, sir? I like your mustache. That's some mustache. Look at that puppy. How long have you been? That thing's older than Israel. When did you start growing that thing? Look at that. Long. That's gorgeous. What's your name, sir? Jeffrey. Did you say? What the hell's so funny about Jeffrey? Oh no, sorry. They get the laughs on a 6-second delay. They're so far away. What happened over there? You spill a drink? I'm talking to Jeffrey with the mustache. He's like the Big Lebowski. What is happening over here? What's going on? Oh, they're showing Jeffrey. Oh, now we're talking. This is better than the Oscars. Oh, we got a cutaway access? Oh, man, I know to come into the crowd. We got cutaways and all that stuff. Go to table 1. Go to table 1 over there. Just I hope you're in shape. You're going to get tired. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, which should be like really, because I'm talking in shorthand, because I feel like I'm amongst family. I got to tell you, I really truly do feel like I am amongst family. And I'll say for me personally, the two best, well, no, there's 3 things. The three life-changing, most impactful things for me personally out of the last year. And like I said, you try to search and figure out where your heart, mind, and soul was before October 7th, because I feel like inevitably we have all changed since October 7th in one way, shape, or form. And, I get asked, how do you think you change? And I always say TBD, to be determined, because I don't know how it's changed me because we're still so deep in it. But I will say from the bottom of my heart, in no particular order, the things that have stuck out to me personally that I will have is the relationships with so many people that I've gotten to meet in Israel, so many people that I've gotten to meet at other Federation events like this, so many people that I've gotten to meet online that I took a leap of faith and said, yeah, I'll have coffee with you. And so many of the incredible experiences that I've had in Israel, the people that I've gotten to meet, the people that I became friends with, the people that I've chatted with, the people that have, who I have had the honor of just trying to support and listen to. And then the other thing in this last year that has been just life-changing and branded on me is I have never felt more proud to be Jewish, and I have never felt as in touch and clear on my Judaism. And, I feel like, this room is a lot of adults, and I know there's like a college room somewhere speaking right now, and then there's also a high school conference going on right now somewhere. And, for me, the conversations, the coffees, the listening, the crying, the learning, and the relationships, and the knowledge that I've had and that I've learned, that I've gotten, from just being so much more aware and so much more, I don't know, in a weird way, I hate the term, but it's so much more woke to what it means to be Jewish, is invaluable. And I really urge everybody, because let's be honest, there's a lot of old geezers in here, to none in the front. No, but I think it's of the utmost importance for our younger people, because we're all figured out, you guys. We're adults. I think it's of the utmost importance to encourage our younger people in our families, our friends, your friends' friends, to arm themselves with the knowledge, the history, the beauty of what it means to be Jewish, because unfortunately, what it means to be Jewish to the outside world is changing moment to moment and minute to minute. And I just think it's imperative to arm ourselves and the younger people with the knowledge and the history of all that stuff. I really do. And that's coming from a guy who barely graduated high school. I barely graduated high school. I had done an extra semester, Saul, and I was in public school at that point because every single private school in Manhattan had either kicked me out or refused to accept me. So I was bad, Saul. And I only graduated. We don't know if the graduation papers ever took place because I called my principal after I did that extra 6 months. And the principal said, I will pass you through if you promise to never come back. So I don't know how I made it here, Saul, is what I'm saying to you. How you doing, sir? I love this guy. Love him. What a face. What's your name, sir? Ken? Ed. Is this your wife? Beautiful wife. How long you guys been married? 100 years. I knew it. I wasn't going to say it because I didn't want to offend you. Well, you guys are a beautiful couple. I was saying, for you guys who don't know much about me, I am from New York City. And yes. Is there people in the back, over that table over there, from New York? What part of New York are you guys from? What do they say? I can't even hear them. The Upper West Side. Of course, Upper West Side, Upper East Side. I see you. I wasn't always this in tune with my Jewish identity, you know, and you know, my parents are both in New York, as I told you. My mother's from Lawrence, Long Island. My father's from the Upper West Side. And, you know, I went to Hebrew school. I was one and done in Hebrew school. And by one and done, I mean I went to one class and the rabbi said, "You're done." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Please do not come back. Don't come in here with your basketball and your boombox. Don't come back." And I said, "Well, Rabbi, you know, my brother went to this Hebrew school and he was bar mitzvahed." He goes, "We know." And he said, we just don't want you." And I said, "Well, you know, what am I going to do?" He said, I don't know. And I said, "But, you know, I want to be bar mitzvahed." He said, "Don't worry. We talked to God. You're cleared." So I didn't, they passed me. They actually gave me a pamphlet on how to be a rabbi while I was, you know, catching the bus home. But I will say that the October 7th came and I had a trip with my wife to go. Am I talking too long, by the way? Okay. Okay, I wasn't asking you. I was asking the bosses. They're paying the bills. You guys ain't paying the bills. Well, actually you are. But I'm talking. I know there's some heavy hitters. I know there's some billionaires in here, man. I got to find the right table of ass to kiss and not to piss off. My whole future is on the line. I could ridicule the wrong person. I think I already did it with the couple over here. I think I'm in deep shit with you. Saul, you're giving me a cockeyed look that I don't like. I'm going to be honest. But just to share with you what the last year, my wife and I had a trip planned in November of 2023, and then after October 7th, you know, like a lot of people, we were like, we can't go to Israel. And when the reality set in of what we were dealing with and what had happened and what was continuing to happen, we immediately decided that we wanted to go ASAP. And I took my first trip to Israel in November of 2023. I had never been there. And I got there at 4:30 in the morning, El Al. And I had met a pilot, because I'm a big deal. They let me in the cockpit and everything. And I met this pilot. He was 62 years old, handsome, spoke English, but is Israeli. And, you know, he told me, you know, he had just gotten out. He had gotten back in the Israeli Air Force for 6 weeks since October 7th. And he was flying me. And I said, "I'm never flying Spirit Airlines again. This is a man that I want to be." I mean, this is a pilot. This guy was out there kicking ass, and he's just like, I'm like, he said, "This is nothing." But that first trip, I will say, we landed at 4:30 in the morning, and the first thing we did was we got some coffee, and they took us to Kibbutz Be'eri. And what I saw in Kibbutz Be'eri, what I smelled in Kibbutz Be'eri, because in November of 23, the homes were still smoldering smoke. You could smell the smoke. And despite the fact that they had been cleaned, you could smell the blood. You can hear the cries. And you saw not just a bullet hole. You saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bullet holes in these tiny homes and these explosions from grenades. And the destruction and the devastation was still palpable in these homes. And I had the privilege of meeting some hostages who had just gotten released. I met a young man named Ophir Engel, who was actually 17 when he was in captivity. And his aunt, Yael, was on my podcast a few weeks before, distraught about her nephew. And when I met Ophir, this is a 17-year-old, didn't speak a lot of English, had no idea. I met him and started crying in his arms, which is weird for a 17-year-old, but I just couldn't believe he made it out. I had the honor and the privilege of meeting Hirsch Goldberg Pollen's parents, and this is in November, and they spoke perfect English, as we know. I had the honor and privilege of meeting Itai Chen's father, who is from Brooklyn, who sounds just like me. I met Omir Nutra's family, who's from Long Island, born in New York City. And as I said, I have so many ties to Long Island and New York. And to hear these stories, that whole first 2 or 3 days in Israel rocked me to my core. And I met this IDF general, and I said to the IDF general, I said, I want to fight. I want to do something. I want to get out there and fight. And the IDF general said, Michael Rappaport, you can't fight. And I said, why not? Is it because I'm too old? And he said, no. And I said, is it because I'm American? And he said, no. And I said, what is it? He said, you're too loud. And I said, what do you mean, General? He said, you're too loud. You're loud. You live loud. You breathe loud. He asked me if I had a breathing issue. I said, yeah, I have a deviated septum. I said, but I could tape my ankles, put on a nose strip, and I'm ready to fight. He said, you can't be in our army. You would be a threat to everybody's well-being. He said, you know that when you were on your flight, the Iron Dome had went off, and they read it as 6 rockets or Michael Rappaport was on his way. So I decided to just, stay on the sidelines and support every single one of our warriors that is out there putting it all on the line, and that who have unfortunately put it all on the line. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a good time. I hope nobody's feet are falling too much asleep, and I hope there's nobody actually falling asleep. If I see that, I'm throwing water on you. I don't care if you're a billionaire or not. If I see anybody fall asleep, Saul, you better make sure no one at your table falls asleep on me, Saul. Next on the agenda, I would like to invite Betsy Fisher to the stage. Betsy is a totally groovy and one-of-a-kind person. She chairs the Jewish National Fund's Rebuild the Envelope Task Force, which obviously is of the utmost importance. Excuse me, and is currently writing the biography of Gadi Yergani, the former mayor of Eshkol, which she plans to publish in 2025. Betsy and her husband, Peter, have generously supported enhanced recreation facilities in both Shahir Haganev and the Eshkol region as a whole, making a lasting impact on the lives of residents in the Israel envelope. Please put your hands together for the beautiful, fierce Betsy Fisher.
אני יודעת שהכסף לא חשוב, אני יודעת אם הלך אולי הוא יום אחד ישוב. אני יודעת שאתה יודע שאני יודעת שלחשוב עליו זה סתם.
All right, wait a minute. I was told not to curse also. But you guys all saw that. I was just introduced by Michael Rappaport. Michael frickin' Rappaport just introduced me. Amazing. Hello. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to introduce Pastor Jensen Franklin. No, seriously, you have no idea how excited I am. I have been waiting to connect with this man since 2019. You see, I'm the chair of what we used to call the Gaza Envelope Task Force, and we've had many successes, but the jewel in our crown is the Play School Kingdom, a state-of-the-art, completely groovy, high-tech, protected learning center near the Gaza border in Eshkol. My amazing husband, Peter, and I gave the first lead gift, and soon afterward, I heard someone else had matched our gift, bringing us closer to our goals. That generous individual was Pastor Jensen Franklin and his ministry. So curious to know more about him, of course, I started to Google. And when his picture popped up, I thought to myself, okay, he's a very charismatic looking man. I think I should dig a little deeper. And then I came across some of his sermons. And I can tell you, I am a strong, proud Jew, but I can let some Christianity trickle into my life. And let me tell you, his sermons are very inspirational. And then I stumbled across some video of the pastor serenading his congregation with his saxophone, okay? So now I know for sure why every single seat in his huge church is filled every single Sunday morning. So now with this new understanding of who the pastor is, I thought, you know, in my official capacity as task force chair, it's my responsibility to personally thank him for all his support. So one day, I had to go to the Philadelphia airport to pick up my dear friend, Michal Uziyahu, the next mayor of Eshkol. So while I'm sitting in a cell phone waiting lot, I figure I'll call the church, I'll give it a try. So I call the church in Georgia, and I cannot get through. They will not let me speak to the pastor. And I tried everything. I tried to be nice. I even dropped Russell Robinson's name, but they would not let me speak to him at all. So I pick up Michal, we're driving to a meeting, and I'm explaining to her, Michal, I am so frustrated. And I'm even showing her video of Russell Robinson on the bima of the pastor's church with some Israeli guy named Rami Levy. And I'm saying, I know that they know who Russell is. So frustrating. But just then, Michal's cell phone rings. And who's on the other line? It's Rami Levy. And we were cracking up. Rami Levy, we were just talking about you. We're just watching this video of you. And what a crazy coincidence. Oh, no, my friends. This was no coincidence. What's the first thing Rami says to Michal? Michal, do you have any idea who this Betsy Fisher person is? I heard she's like stalking the pastor. What is up with that? So after all that, I still never connected with the pastor. So now you can understand why tonight I am so excited to introduce him and to thank him personally. But before we call him to the stage, let's take a look at a short video about the pastor's huge impact in Israel.
Tonight, we gather to honor a truly remarkable leader, Pastor Jensen Franklin. Recognized globally for his influence and dedication, Pastor Franklin's efforts have fortified the bonds between Christian communities across continents with the State of Israel and the Jewish people. Pastor Franklin's visionary leadership, along with his global partners, has led to the construction of the Galilee Emergency Hospital, community bomb shelters, safe rooms, and civil defense centers, profoundly impacting thousands of lives. His dedication extends to the very fabric of our communities, safeguarding and nurturing the future of our children. A stalwart friend to the Jewish National Fund and the State of Israel, Pastor Franklin's influence extends globally through his broadcasts around the world. His deep commitment to the Jewish National Fund USA has catalyzed significant contributions towards enhancing civil security across Israel's northern and southern borders. For the past 5 years, Pastor Franklin, along with his ministry partners, have been a pillar of support. Under Pastor Franklin's leadership, a new Resilience Center offers a sanctuary of comfort, education, and safety for Israeli citizens. Additionally, the construction of a new play school in Eshkol offers a secure and nurturing environment for children, embodying our commitment to the next generation. Pastor Jensen Franklin has been a vocal opponent of anti-Semitism and a staunch defender of Israel, sharing his views with world leaders and millions of viewers globally.
Shalom, dear friends, from the President's residence in Jerusalem. I'm so pleased to add a few words today as you come together to honor and acknowledge the contribution of a great friend and ally of the Israeli people, Pastor Jensen Franklin. I know that you and the millions of people you represent hold Israel in your hearts. This is so meaningful to us, especially at this time of soaring anti-Semitism around the world. I want to thank you, Todah, dear Pastor, for standing with us fully and completely, for the goodwill you are harnessing to heal centuries of pain between our peoples, and for the solidarity, support, and caring that makes Israel stronger.
To Russell Robinson and the JNF, I want to congratulate you for honoring Pastor Franklin. You and you stand for the truth. You stand for Israel. You stand unabashed, proud, and you stand with what is right. We're fighting a war not only for the Jewish people and the Jewish state. We're fighting a war of civilization against barbarism. And that's the time to show solidarity. That's the time to show courage. That's the time to fight anti-Semitism wherever it rears its ugly head, whether in the United States or in Amsterdam or here in the Middle East. That's exactly what you're doing, and I thank you for it.
Please join me in welcoming a great friend of Israel, a visionary leader, and the recipient of the Jewish National Fund Shalom Peace Award, Pastor Jensen Franklin.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pastor Franklin to the stage. So, Pastor Franklin, on behalf of all of us here, everyone across this country and in Israel, it is my distinct pleasure to present to you the Tree of Life Shalom Peace Award, the highest honor given by Jewish National Fund USA. Thank you for all you do, and we look forward to many more years of partnership with you and your ministry. Keep making miracles in the Holy Land.
Thank you so much, Betsy. It's an honor to meet you. It's an honor to be here tonight. A profound feeling. When I started pastoring our church, my wife and I, she's here, my wife Sharice, we've been married 37 years. We have 5 children. We had 4 girls in a row, and we said we're going to try one more time. And we got a boy, so I've got one of my daughters, Caroline, and my son, Drake, who works in Washington, D.C. He's all into politics, and I'm delighted that they're with me. It means so much, and some of our team are here. Our director of television, Brian Smith, and his wife, Cheryl, and Daniel and Madison, who are major parts of our media ministry. I've always loved Israel, and I'll just be very brief. And my parents taught me in our Christian faith that we owe a tremendous debt to the Jewish people, that there's no way that you can love the land of Israel and not love the people of Israel, the Jewish people. It was embedded in me since a child. It was taught to us so simply that without Israel, the nation, the land, and without the Jewish people, we did not have the hope of faith in our hearts, in our faith. And I always wanted to do something for Israel, and I met a man by the name of Rami Levy. And I said to him, after taking trips, we would bring groups over to Israel. We started with 30 or 40 people. Right before COVID, we had about 500 plus people that were coming to Israel with us. And we had scheduled a trip with TBN, a Christian network that his son, Matt Crouch, and Lori asked me to head that up, and we had over 1,000 people going to Israel. And then October the 7th happened, and that trip had to be canceled. But I said to Rami, my friend who is here, and he represents us in so many ways in the United States and in Israel. And I said, I want to do something. I want to do something that will hopefully outlive me, and I want to do it on behalf of our church. Our church is a large church, and God has blessed us, and I felt obligated. And he said, I want you to meet a man by the name of Russell Robinson. I am so sorry I'd never heard of him. We live in different worlds, don't we? Jews and Christians. We rarely get together like this in a setting like this. But when we do, amazing things happen. And he introduced me to this man. I had not Googled him, Betsy. I'm being honest. I had not Googled the Jewish. This is how dumb I was. I had never even heard in my circles of the Jewish National Fund. I did not know who you were except what he told me. And after I met you, I checked you out. And after one time of meeting this man, he shared vision. He is a visionary. Our resources, we're looking for a vision. You don't have a resource problem, you have a vision problem. And when a man presents a vision with a passion like this man presented it, we tested the waters and we were honored to partner, just play a tiny part in this amazing organization. You amazing people who are absolutely a part of prophetic miracles happening in the nation of Israel. And it blows my mind to be here tonight. It really does. This is so meaningful. I'll say this and I'll close. But the last trip that we came over into Israel was about a year and a half before October the 7th terrorist attacks. And they took us to a little area that on the West Bank called Eshkol. And it was a peaceful, beautiful village. And they took us and they showed us, and we met little children. And we fell in love with that community. I met an amazing mother of 5 children. She was carrying an M16 or maybe something on her that was, she was having to take her kids to school like that and all kinds. It blew my mind. I had my daughter with me. I had my wife with me. We were blown away at the people of Eshkol. Our hearts were knitted with them. We knew we had to do something. And so we joined them in the Play School project. And then Russell presented the opportunity. I believe it was amazing that he knew to do this. But he said, we need bomb shelters. Trouble's coming. Bombs are coming more and more. We need bomb shelters. And he said, would you help me build 4 of these bomb shelters? And we, of course, did that. And then he presented some other ideas that were amazing, and we joined them on those opportunities. But the thing that changed my life was on that trip, they took us down into the Hamas tunnels. And we walked through those tunnels. And I realized how precious and how really astounding the heart and the spirit of the people on the West Bank. I'd always, every trip, I stayed in Jerusalem, I stayed in Tel Aviv, I stayed in northern Israel on the Sea of Galilee, and we never had gone to the border. And I asked this mother, who is now the mayor of Eshkol, Mikkel, and I asked her, I was interviewing her, I wanted to tell our television audience about these incredible people. And I said, why don't you leave? You've got babies, you've got a family. We have 5 children. I would get my children out of here. Why do you stay? And she looked at me and looked in that camera with conviction, and tears came in her eyes, and she said, because God gave us this land. This is our land. This is Israel, and we will defend it with all that we are. And when she said that to me, it melted my heart. And it melted the heart of, we showed her interview on television, and Gentile evangelical Christians began to respond by the tens of thousands, and they said, build it, build it, build it. And then we just began to build more and do more. And God has helped us, whatever project Russell brings to us, we get excited about. And I just want to say to you that you're not alone. I just want to say to you that there are people in this nation who love you more than you can ever imagine. And it's not anything that's pretend. It's not anything that we want anything from you, nor do we have any motive, except God has placed a love in our heart for the land of Israel and for the Jewish people. And I believe personally, and this is what I say to any times that I've had opportunity to meet with presidents or whoever in the United States, I say, as long as America stands with Israel, our only ally in the Middle East, we will be blessed and we will be prosperous. We can never turn our back on Israel. Never, never, never. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, Jewish National Fund, and we are excited about partnering with you and standing up for what is right. Let's do it together. God bless you.
Great job. Thank you. Give it up one more time for Pastor Franklin. Good talk, good hair. Beautiful hair. Looks like, what's that actor's name? He makes Tommy Lee Jones. No, not Tommy Lee Jones. Who's the one, which one? The one who was with Barbara Streisand. Brolin. That's like James Brolin in his prime. Beautiful hair. I mean, that's a head of hair on that guy. How's everybody feeling? Good? So I want to share with you something. When I got off the stage after being up here and making fun of Table 1, who now is probably one of, and I know I haven't even been able to get to meet so many people in here, but I want everybody to give, I know we've given a lot of rounds of applauses. I went and chit-chatted with Table 1, and there's a handful of Kibbutz Be'eri survivors from Table 1. So I want everybody to stand up and just give them a round of applause for being here. For coming, And, you know, we're with you and we appreciate you guys so much. And on top of that, I mean, if you're going to talk shit about a table, I picked the wrong table. I mean, let's be honest. I have so much to make up for. I have to go to Chabad tomorrow. If there's any Chabad rabbis in here tonight, please come to my room 1512, and take me to Chabad, because mocking relentlessly, it's one thing to mock Saul, but when there's a table of people from Kibbutz Be'eri that I have mocked relentlessly for sitting in the worst, I mean, in the Federation, who did the seating? I mean, what's going on here? Sunday in Dallas, it's gonna be something else. They got bagel joint here in Dallas? It's gotta be a good bagel joint in Dallas. I performed once in San Antonio, Texas. I did comedy in San Antonio, Texas. See, that very interesting, because when I performed in San Antonio, great crowd, sold out. But, you know, with everything going on, every night when I do a show, I always do a Jew check. I will always say, you know, are there any Jews in the house? And in San Antonio, Texas, there were no Jews in the house, except for there was one guy in the back of the club. He said in a very distinct Southern drawl, he said, "There's one on stage." I said, "All right, it's going to be a short night tonight. We're going to," because I was like, just going to get in and out of here tonight. What can I talk about? You know, the question my mother was asking me, she goes, you know, you've been talking to people so much. What's the question that you get asked the most? And, you know, whether it's in the streets of New York, whether it's at an event like this, whether it's in Israel, even my own mom, she asked me the same question. A lot of people have asked me, I mean hundreds of times, about why aren't more people in Hollywood speaking out? And I don't really have a bid or anything on this. I'll answer that question because I guess I know it's fascinating, and you know, I don't have an exact answer. I will say that for me personally, it has been extremely discouraging, eye-opening, and to be totally honest, embarrassing about the behavior of the, let's just say, artist community, because I'm an actor and I could speak on behalf of actors, but artists, musicians, you know, whether it was the Beatles speaking out politically, or Marlon Brando when he won the Academy Award, having the Native American come on stage, from Jane Fonda to Sally Fields to more recently every single actor at every single award show droning on about things that seem ridiculous or things that are important, whether it's been women's rights, women's pay, Black Lives Matter, women's pay in Hollywood, or things that seem even more crazy to scream and yell about, like trees getting cut down and penguins dying. The reality is, they're all important, but the reality is that every year, at every single award show, somebody will say something. Whether you care or not, doesn't make a difference. But actors, actresses, and musicians are not shy when it's something meaningful to them. So when the writing was on the wall of what had happened on October 7th, to see so many people in my community, number one, say nothing, to see so many Jewish actors and actresses who have made their money, and I say this with all due respect, quote unquote, Jewing it up, which is part of our humor, the neurotic comedy. It's a beautiful thing. It is part of the Ashkenazi in particular way. The funny thing, it's fantastic. But to see so many of those actors who have led with being Jewish say nothing, and to see some of those same actors who have led with being Jewish not only say nothing, but publicly say things against Israel was shocking, to say the least. To see the award season, that's what they call it, in January come around, where the Emmys, the Grammys, the MTV Awards, to see star after star, singer after singer, not even do the bare minimum and show up with a tiny yellow ribbon to let people know that you have a conscience, that at the time, I can't even remember in January, 100 plus people, whether they're Jewish or not, were being held hostage. To see the Hollywood feminists they're not shy about anything. To see the Hollywood and singing community, the feminists, not speak out on the documented sexual violence, torture, kidnapping of women, and still not speak out on the fact that there are 13 women, most of them who, it might even be a stretch to call them women. These are young girls, 19, 20, 21 years old. But I'll say women because there are 13 women, and to see my community not say anything about them, and to see a lot of them who come across as smart, and they could quote Shakespeare, and they read poetry, and when they're not in front of the camera, they make ceramics. To see some of these clowns, these pigs, these fools, these hypocrites show up wearing pins with the handprint and the blood stain on them to the award ceremony, and at the Oscars to see that director win Best Foreign Film for a movie he made about the Holocaust, win that Oscar, and to stand in front of the Hollywood community and refute his Judaism, and these same people applauded him. They clapped for him. It was an existential crisis of my career because I woke up the next morning going, how can I work with these motherfuckers? That's my one curse. I remember it clearly. I was in front of my computer checking to see if anybody, and it was nothing. And I was like, like I said, so I barely graduated high school. Like, it's a shock that I've made it this far. But to answer the question, I can't speak on their behalf. I know that some are scared. Some do things. Some of our big people do things behind the scenes, and they always have. There's a lot of ways to fight. I'm more on the front lines speaking out. There's a lot of ways to fight. You could fight with your money, you could fight with your prayers, you could fight with your heart, you could fight with your conversations, but you have to do something. So there is some people who people question me about, and I'm like, that person's good. None of their last name rhymes with Schmogen, but they're... So there are people that are doing things that we just don't see. There are people that need to also go to Chabad and really come to terms with the gorgeousness, the beauty of what it means to be Jewish and what it means to be Zionist, especially in 2024. Because like I said, as much as it's being thrown at us, as much as we are dealing with, as much demoralization, as much protest, as much heartbreak, as much violence, as much unprecedented stuff across the board that we're dealing with in Israel and in the United States. Do not, because one of the things about terrorists, it's not just the physical violence. They want us to doubt ourselves. Do not doubt your Judaism and your Zionism for one bit. It is of the utmost importance. That's why the trickery and the lying and the propaganda is in place to make us doubt it. And a lot of these people in Hollywood, in my community, unfortunately, the third batch is they believe this shit. Some of them sadly believe it. And you know, the reality is that anti-Semitism has been around for thousands of years. There's no silver bullet. There's no light switch that's going to ever turn it off. We just have to remember to stick together. I really pray that we all stick together despite any political differences, especially our people in Israel. And more importantly, and I don't need to say this to the room because I feel like I'm preaching to the synagogue, is, you know, we need to stick together and watch each other's backs and smile and greet each other, because it doesn't matter what denomination of Judaism, if you're practicing Reformed, every single level, we all are Jews. And even though some of these quote unquote as a Jew dingbats like to cast aspersions on us, I tell those people publicly that you could post as many watermelons as you want, and you could post as many propaganda clips as you want, but if you were in Israel on October 7th, Hamas would treat you as a Jew. I really hope that everybody has had a good time. I really hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. I hope people get to meet some new people and chit-chat with some new people and make some new friends. Like I told you, it's been so valuable to me. And I appreciate, and I'm truly honored that I was able to be a part of tonight in 2024, when it's, like I said, the most outstanding time in modern history to be Jewish. To close out, I want everybody to, I know it's been a long night, but they're going to come up here one more time and kick some butt. I want you to please welcome back to the stage for one incredible final performance this evening from our very own SIU Special in Uniform. Give it up for these guys. And thank you so much. I'm Michael Rappaport. I'm Israel High.
Small.
עוד יש מפרש לבן באופק מול ענן שחור כבד, כל שנבקש לו יהי. ואם בחלונות הערב אור נרות החג רועד, כל שנבקש לו יהי.
לו יהי, לו יהי, אנא לו יהי, כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, אנא לו יהי, כל שנבקש לו יהי.
And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree there will be an answer, let it be. For those who may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see there will be an answer, let it be.
Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
כל הנאות אני שומע, כל שופר וכל תופים, כל שנבקש לו יהי.
And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. בתוך שכונה קטנה מוצלת, בית קט עם גג אדום, כל שנבקש לו יהי. זה סוף הקיץ, סוף הדרך, תן להם לשוב הלא.
The next song is called This Is Me. And it's all about standing up for ourselves, being proud of who we are, regardless of our human imperfections. It is also a song about being strong in face of hate and criticism, and it became a kind of an anthem for people with special needs. Today, in these difficult times, we also think this song is relevant for Am Israel. And as we sing this song, I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious.
I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all of our scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But won't let them break me down to this. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious.
When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. This is me,
Another round of bullets hits my skin. Will fly away, 'cause today I won't let the same singing. We're bursting for the barricades. We are warriors, and that's what we become. I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. For we are glorious.
when the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me, this is me,
When the sharpest bone wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the flood, gonna draw them out. This is brave, this is Bruce, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me.
This concludes our gala. Please enjoy dessert served in the foyer. Enjoy the remainder of your evening.